I'm going to just start out with a little bit of an introduction to the project. And this was the view of the museum's African gallery as you approached it, walking south through the museum until a few weeks ago. Now that's the view. So the painting began with that simple line. You see the black line in the upper left portion of this painting. People have often asked, did she start with a preliminary drawing? Did she map it out on the canvases? And the answer is no. She took a chicken feather, she dipped it into paint, and she started painting. So it comes from her mind. There's a photograph of feathers and some of the paints. A few artist brushes used for brushing in the larger sections of color. Nice thing about this photograph, you see one feather, 2 twined together, 3, 6, 8, 10 twined together to make different size feather brushes. Esther and Marriam working together on a scaffolding, on ladders, up and down steps, sitting, kneeling, standing, even lying down every now and then, very physically taxing. Care and exacting precision. It was just a thrill to watch. I think many of you probably were in the Evans Court at some point watching this process going along. Here the second painting is now coming along into being, getting near to being finished, done, and signed. Before I go on to more general questions, are there any thoughts that you would like to share with the audience about this commission?
Mina ngithabile. Thabe kwamambala. Museum alona nje. Thabile kobanyana bona bathethe imihlobo yonke ye art bayifaka lapha.
I'm very happy because the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts took the initiative of bringing together different cultures. They are all preserved in this museum. And now I'm so happy because my culture is Ndebele will be represented.
Esther, you have been painting now for almost 70 years, starting as a very young girl. How old were you when you first picked up your mother and your grandmother's brushes and tried to help them with the work they were doing?
I was 10 years.
I was 10 years old when I started. I'm so happy today because my mother and my grandmother didn't want me to paint. They used to chase me away. But because I used to go and mess up their paintings, and they would come back and be so angry with me, but at last they agreed to let me paint with them, but only on the back side of the house. And when they saw that I could paint beautifully, they allowed me to paint with them now on the front side of the house.
At first, did you work with natural pigments, earths, or with commercial paints?
It was, we used to use soil. We had white soil, black, red, yellow, and light green. And we used to mix the soil with cow dung and water.
Was your mother's and your grandmother's painting style similar to yours in design, Ibala, and color? Or did you invent new forms and create your own style?
Our designs are very different. In the olden days, they didn't have the different paints that we have. And when you painted, you were limited to a certain number of paints. But these days, I can use as many colors as I want. And I've also designed my styles. I have new styles that I've designed. Okay. The painting with Isteketsane, the zigzag, is my painting. But the other one, that one is an old design that was made by my parents, by my mother and my grandmother. They used cow dung mixed with water. I had to do that in order to complete the painting.
After painting for more than 50 years, you had an experience of a different kind. You were invited to travel to Paris to participate in a huge international exhibition called Magiciens de la Terre, or Magicians of the World. Artists from all over the world participated. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came about and what you thought about the invitation?
I was very glad when they invited me because they started by taking pictures of my home. And when they took the pictures, I was not at home. So they took the picture of my house and they took the pictures to France and then chose the best pictures. My house was chosen. And they came back looking for me. I was not at home when they arrived. And my children told them I was still at Bochum. They went to Bochum and they produced a picture of my house and gave it to me. When I looked at it, I saw it was my house. And I told them, this is my house. And they said, yes, we are looking for you. We want you to travel to France to paint. And I said to them, how do I get to France? They said, by aeroplane. I told them I first have to consult my children. I went to them and asked them and showed them the letter they've given me. After we agreed that I didn't misunderstand the people, I told them, I'm now going to France. Who's going with me? And my youngest son said, Mother, I'll go with you.
This was an exhibition that totally changed the paradigm about how we look at global contemporary art. And to that end, I have to say, Esther was among the icebreakers. When you worked on paintings in Paris and Washington and Germany, were people able to watch you like they were able to watch you here?
Yes, they were watching me, especially young children, school children. And after seeing the school children, when I went back home, I started my school.
To say the least, it must have been joyful with the election of Nelson Mandela in 1994. Did a great change in the arts come with the ending of apartheid and the election of Mandela? Has there been a resurgence of painting and a new energy in the arts overall since these major events?
Yes, there were many changes. We saw museums, all of them wanting to have Ndebele paintings. We saw lodges being painted in Ndebele designs. And the women all went out into the towns to sell their beads and their paintings. They were all free to go wherever they wanted to go, so they went into the towns to sell everything they had, everything they'd been keeping in their homes.
What aspirations do you have for the future of Ndebele art and culture?
My future is that I want children to learn the cultures. I don't want any culture to die. So that's why I'm teaching and want other people to teach their children as well, so that no future, no culture in this world must come to an end.